everybody. This is Tony Lapatina and my partner
Karen Bentley.
from Sugar Free Advantage. As promised, we're back to talk about a variety of products that contain sugar. Karen's got a whole shelf full over there that she's going to go through and compare and teach you so that you can become more informed about what your body is consuming. Take it away, Karen.
Okay, everybody. So when people say we're going sugar-free, they think most people just are talking about this one product, table sugar. When I say sugar-free, I'm talking about all these products, and I hope to convince you in this video today why they all are more like sugar than they are not like sugar, and why, in my mind, there's very little distinction between them. So let's just start with table sugar, and this is a very common product. And as we talked about in a previous video, it's 50% glucose and 50% fructose. So it's not just one or the other, it's a 50-50 combination of both of them. There's 15 calories in 1 teaspoon, 4 grams of sugar in 1 teaspoon, and I don't know why that light's going.
I was going to say, pull that back. I think it's too close to the camera, and the camera's adjusting because of the light coming. It's coming. The light coming off of that is fooling the camera.
Start over.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry. Like, why is that not working?
It's just it's the camera in the computer that's adjusting for the light, and it sees that as more light. You maybe just hold it back a little bit.
All right.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Hello, everybody. Tony Lapatina here, and my partner,
Karen Bentley.
From Sugar Free Advantage. As promised, we're back to discuss all of the products that contain sugar that need to be looked at more carefully because they're very misleading in what their contents are. Karen's got a whole shelf full of products here to talk about, and let her take it away. Go, Karen.
So hi everybody. My mission in this video is to convince you of why sugar and all its relatives are more alike than they are not alike. And if I fail to do that, then shame on me, but I'm not going to fail. So this is table sugar. And when most people say I'm going sugar-free, this is what they're talking about, getting table sugar or sucrose out of their diet. When I talk about going sugar-free, I'm talking about getting all of these products out of your diet because they're all equally dastardly. They might have a few antioxidants and phytochemicals that make them interesting, but basically your body's going to do the same thing with maple syrup that it does with table sugar. So let's just look at each one individually, and then you can decide for yourself if this makes sense or not. So table sugar is 50% fructose and 50% glucose, as we talked about in the previous video. Fructose turns into triglycerides, which are fat modules, which you certainly don't want floating around in your body. Glucose calls for a big insulin production, which puts your body in fat storage mode, which you certainly don't want. So fructose and glucose are equally difficult substances because they both have a propensity to make you fat and to increase your girth, which is inches. So that's table sugar. So keep that in mind. 15 calories, 4 grams of sugar, around the mid-60s on the glycemic index continuum. Then we have, we're going to use this little Aunt Jemima product as high fructose corn syrup because you can't just buy high fructose corn syrup. So we got this product that's high fructose corn syrup disguised as maple syrup imitation. High fructose corn syrup is anywhere between 42 and 55% fructose. They used to say HFCS 42 or HFCS 55, but they don't do it anymore. The higher level of fructose is usually in sodas, not in foods, and the lower level is usually in products that are bakery products and sauces and salad dressings and things like that. So HFCS is slightly more calories. It's 16 to 7 calories. And why? Because it's a syrup. Syrup can hold more calories. And it's 5 grams of sugar per teaspoon. And why? Again, it's because we're a syrup. And it's going to be slightly lower on the glycemic index because it has higher fructose. So it could be 55 instead of 64, the way sugar is. But still, we now know that fructose is just as bad as sucrose when it comes to your health and your weight and your diet. You know, when fructose was first developed, it was thought to be a really healthy alternative because of that whole glycemic index thing, because it measured so much better. So it was like a free license, a ticket to ride, you know, eat the fructose, it's better for you, it doesn't count. And now we know that it counts a lot. Maple syrup, this is one, there's so much confusion on maple syrup. I see this all the time. A lot of sugar-free recipe cookbook authors favor maple syrup over sugar, and you'll see this in their recipes. And that's fine if you want to use this as an alternative to sugar, but it's not really being sugar-free because it's roughly equal to the sucrose and fructose content is roughly equal to table sugar. It could be as low as 40% or it could be around 50% depending on the type of maple syrup you're talking about. Again, it's got 17 calories because it's a syrup, so it's going to carry a little more calories. 5 grams of sugar like high fructose corn syrup, and it's got a 54 GI, so it's a little bit lower GI, which might be why some cookbook authors prefer it. Then we have honey, another favorite. Let's see. Honey, everybody likes honey because they don't think it's processed because it comes from bees, but the bees are doing the processing. The bees are concentrating the sugar in this product. So just because the bees are doing the processing instead of humans, it still counts. All of these products, by the way, are natural. We already talked about sugar being natural. HFCS is natural. It comes from corn. Maple syrup is natural. It comes from a maple tree. And honey is natural. They're all natural. There's not one sugar or sugar relative that isn't natural. So natural has nothing to do with processing. It just has to do with whether the food comes from a plant or an animal source, and all of these come from plant sources. So honey is 40% fructose, and it's 20 calories, so it's quite a bit more in calories, and it's 5 grams of sugar, and it's anywhere from 45 to 65 on the glycemic index, about the same as sugar. So to me, when I start comparing all these different measures about table sugar and maple syrup and honey and high fructose corn syrup, there's not very much distinction, you know, a calorie here, a calorie there, 5 points on the glycemic index. You know, it just stops looking different to me. They all really look much more the same. Now here's one that there's also a lot of confusion about, the agave syrup. So agave, when it came out, people thought, hallelujah, this is a health food. It's 10 on the glycemic index, 17 on the glycemic index, 30, you know, depending on the way the agave is prepared, it can be very low glycemic index because it can be very high in fructose. It can be as high as 90% fructose. So we know when the fructose is high, the glucose is less. And it was thought to be a health food, and I still see it in recipes all over the place. Use agave instead of sugar. It's a healthy thing to do. And now we know that the fructose is going to increase your triglycerides and make you just as fat. So you're not getting anything extra special here. The agave syrup has 21 calories per teaspoon, so you get a little bit of extra calories, 5 grams of sugar. And this particular brand is just 17 on the glycemic index. So it looks like it's really good, but we know it's not. So now you know it's not too. Let's see, what else do we have here? Molasses, it's more of the same. I'm not going to go through all these measures over and over again. It's pretty much the same of what we've been talking about. This is another fructose glucose compound. It's a sugar relative. you know, maybe you think it's slightly less processed and better than sugar because it's still brown instead of white. And if you value that, keep your quantity to 1 tablespoon or less per day. Now we get into some of the more interesting products. Those are like the ones that are most common on the grocery shelf, but I wanted to talk to you about sugar in the raw. Tony, what do you think about that? Do you think sugar in the raw is better or worse than table sugar? What's your bet?
They want you to think it's better because the presumption is that it's undergone less processing, but I'm not sure that that makes it any more healthy just by going through less processing. But that's my opinion, my guess, that it's pretty comparable.
Yeah, it's pretty comparable. Let's see, sugar in the raw. Same deal, it's still 50% fructose, 50% sucrose, so it's the same chemical composition as sugar. You're not getting any benefit there. It's still 15 calories per teaspoon, no benefit there. It's still 4 grams of sugar, no benefit there, unfortunately. And it's still in the mid 60s for the glycemic index, no benefit there. So if it makes you feel better to eat sugar in the raw, then that's fine. Just keep it to 1 tablespoon or less per day. But there's really no metabolic benefit to eating sugar in the raw. Now let's try palm sugar. What do you think about this one, Tony? Palm sugar is a darling lately, getting a lot of attention. You think palm sugar is better or worse than table sugar? What's your guess?
My guess is no better, no worse. I'm sure it's processed to some degree. And I would say that perhaps it's being presented as better, but it isn't.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, it's I couldn't find any any information on the fructose content. All I could get was the sucrose content, and as we know, sucrose is 50% fructose and 50% glucose. So I'm estimating that it's anywhere from 40 to 50% fructose, like the rest of the products. It's 15 calories, just like sugar. It's 5 grams of sugar, just like sugar. And the glycemic index on this, somebody reported it as 35, which is highly suspicious to me, given that all the other measures are the same as sugar. So I'm not sure I buy that or not. It looks pretty processed to me. It looks just about the same as sugar. To me, it's in the same family, and I would treat it exactly the same. Here's another one, coconut sugar. Coconut is the darling of keto and paleo enthusiasts. What's your bet, Tony? Better or worse?
I think it might be a little better.
Why do you think?
Well, again, you're zooming in a little too much.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Uh,
We're still learning how to do this, folks.
I'm going to have to cut that out. All right, I'm going to guess that it's comparable. I see it says unrefined. That leads me to believe that it's presenting itself as a little bit healthier, but I don't think so. Still the same thing.
Yeah, so it says unrefined, but geez, it's a powdery substance. Seems like it must have gone through some kind of processing. I don't think it came off the tree this way. What do you think?
No, definitely not.
Somebody did something to it.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't want to call it refining, but they did something to pulverize it. Again, there was no information on the direct fructose content, so this is an estimate that it's in the range of 40 to 50%. It's 18 calories. It's a little more than sugar. Not, you know, it's in the same range. 5 grams of sugar per teaspoon. And the glycemic index is around 54, so slightly better than table sugar. In my book, it's about the same.
Mm-hmm.
But look at this one. This is the only one that's different. And this is called coconut crystals. So if you're really looking for a product that is noticeably different than the rest of those, this is it. Have you ever heard of this, Tony?
That one I have not.
Yeah, coconut crystals.
Sounds like it's less refined if they're presenting it as crystals.
Well,
but it could be a misleading ad or misleading phrase.
the only thing I don't like about this one is that the only place I could find anywhere that the glycemic index was on the back of the product. So, you know, it puts you have to put an awful lot of faith in the
Yeah,
manufacturer to not,
yeah, to be honest.
yeah, to not fudge you a little bit. So, but anyways, I have no idea what the fructose content is of this product, but it's only got 10 calories per teaspoon, which is quite significantly less than the rest of the products that we looked at today, of all of them.
Mm.
And it's only got 2.3 grams of sugar, again, significantly less, about
It is.
half. Yep. And the glycemic index, according to the manufacturer, is 35. Again, that's significantly less than everything else. So if you're really on a mission to find a natural product, like the rest of these, they're all natural, but if you're really on a mission to find something that delivers a lower response in terms of insulin, less triglyceride production, then, you know, this could be a product that you might want to check out. I got this in the grocery store, so I didn't have to make a trip to a health food store or anything like that. It was right there, and you might want to check it out. So these are all the sugar family alternatives, as I said, except for the crystals. Everything, in my mind, is just another glucose-fructose compound, and they're really very similar. And when I say sugar, I'm talking about all of them. But when other people talk about sugar, they're just talking about this.
Right.
So thank you. Thank you for listening to us. We have one more in this series, and it's how to shop for products off the grocery store shelf. So come back and get the last of it. It's information you must have to go grocery shopping. Bye for now.
Thank you, Karen. That was very enlightening, particularly the
Was it?
coconut crystals. I'm going to have to look for those.
Did you like that?
We'll see you all next time. Stay tuned.
Bye.
Stay well.